Mario Party 9. My favorite Mario Party game. Because of its good pacing and just the fact that the boss minigames are amazing. Just like top 11 Wario Master of Disguise bosses, I'm going to be covering every single boss minigame in the game from my least favorite to my favorite. Now, just a note, the Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong minigames will not be included because those aren't bosses. Those are just shooting yourselves out of barrels collecting bananas. Now, without any further ado, let us start with the list. Let me make this clear. I hate the fight with Womp. First, you have to select a 1 or 0 to enter in on the levers, and then once it all totals up, the platform will turn that many times. Then, when the platform stops, Womp smashes me, I mean the person under him, and then the other people get to ground pound on Womp for points. But wait, there's more! When Womp gets down to half health, he starts jumping on the counter, which will screw you up even further. Finally, now I don't have to talk about this horrible minigame anymore. The fight with Dry Bones is a step up from Womp, but it's still not that good. What you have to do is memorize the cards and then pick the card that corresponds to the platform Dry Bones is standing. As the fight goes on, there will be more platforms for Dry Bones to stand on. If you pick the right card, then it'll attack Dry Bones and you'll get 3 points. Also, if you're unlucky enough to pick a Dry Bones card, Dry Bones will attack you. Once he's down to half health, Dry Bones will run across the cards, thus mixing them up. Ooh. King Bob-omb is definitely a better boss than the other two. I can't deny that. What you have to do is pick bombs to throw at King Bob-omb. The bigger ones do more damage. Just a warning, if 2 people pick the same bomb, then neither of them will get to use it. Also, just a fun fact, if you're playing with 2 people, King Bob-omb will get to choose a bomb as well, and you won't get to use it if you choose the same one as him. Also, the first time I played this fight, I found it really annoying, but at least it's better than the others. Now that we're out of the negatives, let's get into the good stuff. What you have to do is swim around and grab green shells that are conveniently placed underwater, and then launch them straight at Cheep Cheep. Cheep Cheep has a variety of attacks such as rushing you, and once he gets down to half health, he'll also fly up out of the water and dive bomb you. One thing that kind of puzzles me about this fight is how is everyone breathing underwater? Okay, I get that they supposedly get air from the bubbles, but they wouldn't drown even if they didn't get the Koopa shells in the bubbles. So, well, Nintendo logic. Spike is an odd choice for a boss because unlike the others, I'm pretty sure Spike only appeared in one game. Spike will send spike balls going down the hill and you have to select a hammer to hit him back with. Iron hammers are worth 1 point, golden hammers are worth 3, and sticks will do absolutely nothing and just get you crushed. When you get Spike down to half health, he'll have the lava rise a bit, so you're going to have less time to choose a hammer. Also, there will be more sticks, so someone will be forced to lose. Wiggler is a very simple battle. What you have to do is ground pound the segments on Wiggler's body. Purple is worth 1 point and orange are worth 3 points. Also, you have to avoid piranha plants. Oh, and when Wiggler gets down to half health, there's no more screwing around. He runs around like crazy and you can get less hits on him. Regardless of whether or not you like Bowser Jr. as a character, you have to admit, the fight with him is pretty sweet. You fight him in a giant mech. You attack Bowser Jr. using dice blocks. Yeah, because I mean, how else are you going to attack a mech? I've never beaten a mech before except when I used dice blocks. It's obviously the only solution. The number of spaces you get builds up that many on the power grid. When you manage to land on a star, you get to attack Bowser Jr. and get that many points as indicated on the star. If you're unfortunate enough to land on a Bowser Jr. space, Bowser Jr. will roll a dice block consisting of 1 or 2 and making you lose that many points in the most painful way possible. When Bowser Jr. is at half health, he'll set off a bomb that makes more Bowser Jr. spaces appear on the power grid. Also, he'll be able to roll 2 dice blocks instead of 1. This fight would have been higher on the list. The only problem is, this fight is entirely luck-based. King Boo's puzzle attack is the result of someone hearing someone else saying, "I like puzzle bosses," and taking the term puzzle boss literally. Yeah, you have to match up 3 items to attack. Most combos will just give you 3 points. But match up 3 lightnings and you'll get 10. Also, when King Boo's at half health, he'll send other Boos at you to grab your cursor and you'll have to swing the Wii remote to get him off. Well, that's it. Mario Party 9's final battle does not disappoint. What you have to do is throw the dice blocks Bowser gives you until a certain given amount of time. You want to try to get it so that your character's face is up. When all the dice blocks freeze, then the characters get the power of their dice blocks to attack Bowser. Beware, if any Bowser dice blocks are up, he'll get to spew fireballs at you. While most bosses make 1 or 2 changes at half health, Bowser makes 3. First of all, Bowser's fireballs are bigger, so they're going to be even harder to dodge than earlier. Second, Bowser gets a dice block he always gets to throw that'll summon one of the major bosses to come and attack you. Lastly, and most annoyingly, Bowser will tilt the stage when you're trying to throw the dice blocks, preventing you from getting the one that you want. This fight is great and all, but there are still 3 that I prefer over this. What could they be? Lack 2, the first boss of Mario Party 9, is probably the best first boss since Little Slugger. What you do is you go around hitting the blocks to shoot bullet bills at Lack 2. You can shoot 1, 2, or 3 bullet bills at Lack 2 at once, or you can accidentally add a Spiny to the field, which you have to avoid because they take away a point if you run into one. Lastly, when Lack 2's down to half health, he'll start shooting Spinies like crazy, and he'll even throw giant Spinies onto the field. Yeah, pretty good first boss. Blooper is probably the most straightforward boss in the entire game, but he's still one of my favorites. Blooper will move around and what you have to do is shoot him with the patented Mario Party cannonballs that don't physically injure opponents. When Blooper's down to half health, there's no more messing around. Blooper moves at blinding fast speeds. He'll even put ink over your screen, which is a bit more effective than it is in Mario Kart. Also, he'll throw urchins way more frequently than he did before at half health. You can shoot the urchins to try to get them to hit your opponents, but other than that, they just serve to hit you. Oh yeah. Whoa, wait. Now, I know you want to know what number 1 is, but before we do that, how about I recap? Number 12, Womp. Number 11, Dry Bones. Number 10, King Bob-omb. Number 9, Cheep Cheep. Number 8, Spike. Number 7, Wiggler. Number 6, Bowser Jr. Number 5, King Boo. Number 4, Bowser. Number 3, Lactu. And number 2, Blooper. By process of elimination, you've probably figured out that my favorite boss from Mario Party 9 is Chain Chomp. So what you have to do is watch the rails because they cross over, and then pick the cart in the lane that you would like to go down. Mine carts will then lead to cannons which you use to attack Chomp with. Each regular cannon does 1 point. And golden cannons, well, they do 3. Oh, and be sure that whatever you do, you pick a lane with a cannon in it. Because if you pick the lane without a cannon in it, or the 2 lanes if Chomp has been down to half health, you're gonna get bitten. I'm Cardboard Box Productions, and see you later, YouTube.